Are we ready? Can we do it? Let's do it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What do you do when you are turning 30 in 2021? It seems as if this year is going to be a year of, I don't know, let's just try and give it a chance. It's tough. It's tough on so many levels because 2020 literally brain fucked everyone. Everyone, seriously. And I don't know if I necessarily want to go through all of that again. Also, the weight of turning 30 in a year that is still going through a pandemic is not the best thing to have on your plate. But I will say this, we all are probably feeling a lot of pressure, especially those of us who are turning 30 this year, or who have turned 30 in 2020. Because of this, I believe that there are some things that we should probably go over. So this is my top 5 things that you should probably start concerning yourself with if you are turning 30 in 2021. This is my personal list, and I don't necessarily think that you need to mark everything on this list as you would on your personal list, but to me, this is where my heart is at. Number 1, it has to be your health. I think that knowing your COVID status is very important, and also just being able to know that, hey, if it's not COVID, do I have anything else? These things are really important. I think that your health overall is going to be something that you want to check frequently this year. Stress is a big thing. I'm also going to add that mental health is so important that we should not brush that under the rug anymore. I know a lot of people who are currently going through COVID, and it seems like they're on airplane mode, pilot mode, I guess, and they're just coasting by. It sucks to see people just live like a ghost amongst COVID. I know it's a way of just getting through it and getting up through the day, but once you come back into reality, you're gonna realize that you did a lot of damage maybe to yourself because you didn't pay attention to some of those mental health opportunities that you have. So please, health comes first. My mental health comes first. I have been very open about my journey in mental health and me necessarily not knowing how to manage having schizoaffective disorder and the medication management that comes with that. It's a big responsibility, but we're turning 30. So the responsibility is literally, it's been knocking at the door for a very long time. Hopefully you decided to open it. So number 2, it is going to be finances. You need to have your money looking tight, looking right. You need to have cash on hand. I believe that you should definitely start working on your credit if that's something that is an opportunity for you. You want to be in a position to where if something happens, you want to be able to get through that situation. You don't want to have to ask anybody for help because a lot of people are hurting anyway. So what do you do if you don't have a job? What do you do if you necessarily have been completely affected by this and work is not what it is, like so many people out there? I am going to tell you to try to just watch your spending. Don't do any emotional online spending. Don't necessarily buy things just because they make you feel good. It's gonna hurt you in the long run. I unfortunately bought a lot of stuff when I was in the house, didn't know what was gonna happen. And I look back at it and I'm like, yo, I could have definitely used that money on more productive things. Instead of just thinking inward, I should have been thinking outward, and I could have helped so many people get through it. But that just comes with work. That just comes with time and getting older and knowing yourself and knowing that, hey, I may be obligated to go and help somebody one day. So this is the perfect time to just help your brethren and keep them, afloat if you have it. And afloat doesn't necessarily mean hand out the cash, like, here you go, girl, spend it on whatever you need. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you can be there to provide constructive criticism for other people if you just so happen to see your sis, your girl, buying something that they don't need. We don't need bundles right now, miss. Just go ahead and throw that hat on, that cap it up, and try to push it on down to the nearest opportunity that's for you. But please watch your spending and your finances. My number 3 would have to be work-life balance. This also goes back to if you are in a position where you're working, the mental aspect. You see how I'm trying to build on this? So the mental health and the work responsibility, maybe for some of you, you can relate to this, but if you are working, you may feel this sense of like, I have to work 10 times harder because I know somebody else is struggling. And I'm now not only working, like I'm going beyond plus ultra with it as well. So I'm trying to crush it in every way possible. I'm showing up to work early. I'm leaving late. I'm not taking care of my body. I'm not taking care of my mental health. I'm making sure that I'm a superhero for everyone. But at the end of the day, I'm more drained helping them than I was before the pandemic, and I was just making sure that I left on time and I punched in right when I needed to punch in. You didn't cause the pandemic. I didn't cause the pandemic. Sure, you know, there are a lot of people out there who aren't helping to end it, but you just need to do the best that you can do. So work-life balance, you do that job and you do it the best way that you possibly can. But guess what? When you clock out, you need to clock all the way out.
All the way out.
Because this is taking such a mental toll on just our day-to-day. Getting up is not just getting up. Getting up feels like survival right now, because it is, in a sense. So be easy on yourself, be kind to yourself, love yourself. This is not a time to be brutal, to say malicious things about yourself. You are good enough, and your performance is good enough. It is, because you're there and people do depend on you. Number 4 would definitely have to be, if you have any hobbies or personal projects, I'm gonna go ahead and say work on them. This is the best way to get to know you, to feel a sense of empowerment in your life. Working on yourself can be in the form of art or music, or if you say, you know what, I always wanted to get into sewing, or I always wanted to paint something. Do it, make time for it, because this is how you don't fall off track. I believe that if you sit in yourself and dive deeply into a project, you will always have something to go back to. Nobody can take that from you. Your employer can't take it from you. The nasty girl at checkout can't take it from you. The woman who coughed on you in line can't take it from you. You know what you're gonna do when it comes to your 2 days off. You're gonna go home, you're going to set up that canvas and you're gonna paint. Or you're gonna go home and you're gonna whip out that Rosetta Stone program and you're gonna learn a new language. Personally, I decided that I was gonna learn Japanese. I thought it would help me as far as my career, and I just always wanted to learn. And because of the way 2020 panned out, I don't want to have anything on my bucket list that's pending. I just don't want it. I have a few more things, but just want to use learning Japanese as an example. Plus, I lived in Japan. We will talk about that a little later. And my experience about being a black man in Japan. Real. And then last thing on my list is education. Even though I wanted to make it first, a lot of people don't necessarily believe in that right now. If I could reverse some things, I would have made it first. But I understand. Through the pandemic, I never stopped going to school. I continued to keep going. I actually am still going to be enrolled in another class just because that's something that I personally believe in. Being as sharp as you can. So please don't stop learning throughout this pandemic. Whatever it is that's happening, it's going to happen no matter what. You are going to do your best at being ready. So you don't have to get ready. You can just stay ready and stay prepared and have everything you need, because the world is still turning and you are going to be 30 very soon. Be prepared, because we don't know. Show how strong and dynamic of a person you are, that you can stand up and still be a symbol of peace no matter what is going on around you. You have it in you to save the world, even if it's just the world around you. Somebody depends on you and they love you and they cherish you. You got it. Your encouragement can come from a spiritual source. It can also come from within. It can come from looking at your accolades, from where you started to where you currently are. Maybe your backstory is not the best. You can change the future. It literally starts. So if you're turning 30 and you feel this pressure to be the best, or you feel like you haven't done enough, just take the power back. Create yourself a list of things that you want to accomplish. If you can't complete everything on your list, by the time you turn 30, maybe your birthday is in February, or maybe your birthday is like January 2nd. And, well, you know what? Guess what? Before 31 hits, boom, you got your list together, and then just knock it off. Because the list, I'm telling you, them worksheets matter, and so do them lists. So I care about you deeply, tremendously, and ultimately, I just want you to succeed. So as a 29-year-old turning 30 this coming May, I just want to look back and say, you know what? That was one hell of a year previously, but this year, your boy, yeah, we doing some things. So let this video just be some form of encouragement. I ultimately hope that it encourages you to just be the best version of yourself. I know it is tough, but guess what? You are better than that. You are, you the cream of the crop, and I care about you and I love you. And there is nothing that I see for you that you cannot have. So have a good day. Bye.